The economy will not collapse with an explosion. It will fail in silence, line by line, job by job. It won't be a sudden crisis you'll see on the news with screaming headlines and markets melting down live on TV. It will be a slow, invisible, methodical corrosion. When the shock finally arrives, when everyone wakes up and realizes what has happened, it will already be too late to reverse. And the worst part, you'll still be receiving your paycheck. Companies will still be announcing record profits. Stock market indexes will still be rising. But something fundamental, something that kept this entire system functioning, has already begun to break from the inside. Artificial intelligence doesn't just threaten isolated jobs or specific sectors. It threatens the very mechanism that keeps money circulating through the economy, that sustains consumption, that justifies production. This is no longer a theoretical debate about the future. This is a report on something inevitable that is already in motion, and you need to understand this now. Before we continue, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hype this content so it reaches more people. While you're watching this, thousands of professionals are being replaced in fields they believed were safe. We're not talking about call center operators or supermarket cashiers. We're talking about financial analysts, radiologists, software developers, specialized copywriters, graphic designers, people with years of experience, expensive degrees, impressive portfolios. And they aren't being laid off with fanfare. They're simply not being rehired. The positions stop opening. Projects are reassigned to automated systems. Corporate productivity is skyrocketing. The numbers are celebrated in quarterly reports, but wages? Stagnant. Benefits? Cut. Promotions? Frozen. Fewer and fewer people are sustaining larger and more complex systems. The math doesn't work for workers, but it works perfectly for those extracting profit. And the general public hasn't noticed yet because the impact is fragmented, invisible, distributed across millions of micro decisions that no one questions individually. You might be thinking your field is different, that your job requires something too human to be replaced: creativity, empathy, moral judgment. But the uncomfortable truth is that AI doesn't need to do everything you do. It only needs to do enough for you to stop being essential. And when that happens, the market doesn't feel sympathy, it simply adjusts. Imagine a traditional law firm. Before, a team of 10 junior lawyers spent weeks reviewing contracts, identifying problematic clauses, preparing legal opinions. Today, an AI does it in hours, with higher accuracy, without complaints, without vacations, without fatigue errors. The firm keeps 2 senior lawyers to review and sign. The other 8? They simply weren't replaced when they left. No dramatic firings, no protests. The transition was smooth, natural, inevitable. And now those 8 professionals are competing for jobs that no longer exist in a market that has already decided they are redundant. A graphic design company used to employ 15 designers, creating layouts, corporate presentations, marketing materials. Today, it has 3 art directors using generative AI tools that produce in minutes what used to take days. The quality? Good enough for 80% of clients. The cost? A fraction. The company is more profitable than ever, but 12 families lost their source of income. 12 career paths were interrupted. 12 consumers stopped circulating money through the economy. And this is happening simultaneously across hundreds of industries, thousands of companies, millions of jobs that simply evaporate without warning. A major bank eliminated 3,000 customer service positions, replaced by advanced chatbots that resolved 90% of requests without human intervention. The remaining 10% are routed to a reduced team of overloaded specialists. The bank saved $200 million a year. Shareholders applauded. The CEO received a bonus. but 3,000 people with middle-class salaries who bought cars, paid rent, supported local businesses, sent children to school, simply disappeared from the economic system. And when you multiply this scenario across all banks, all companies, all sectors doing the same thing at the same time, you begin to grasp the true scale of the problem. Companies say AI is just an auxiliary tool, that it will free humans for more creative, strategic, meaningful work. It's a comforting narrative. It's also a convenient lie. Because when you look at the real numbers, when you analyze actual hiring data, when you map where those more creative jobs should be appearing, you find a void. Companies aren't reallocating people, they're eliminating positions and pocketing the difference as pure profit.
Governments repeat that new technologies have always created more jobs than they destroyed historically. They point to the Industrial Revolution, the Internet era, every previous technological transition as proof that everything will adjust naturally. But there is a fundamental difference this time. All previous revolutions automated physical labor or mechanical processing. AI is automating cognition. It is replacing the one thing that always kept us relevant, our ability to think, decide, create, adapt. The math simply doesn't work. For every job AI eliminates, how many new ones does it create? One for every 10? One for every 20? And even those new jobs, how long until they too are automated? The speed of substitution vastly exceeds the speed of human adaptation. This isn't a fair race, it's a person running against an accelerating car, and everyone keeps saying, you just need to run faster. Meanwhile, AI itself continues to evolve exponentially. GPT-3 seemed impressive. GPT-4 was an order of magnitude better, and the models being trained now? They are leaps that turn science fiction into reality every 6 months. Each new version devours more professions, invades more territories once considered safe, demonstrates abilities experts swore were uniquely human, and there are no signs of slowdown, none. Income concentration was already a problem before AI. Now it's being turbocharged by a mechanism that transfers value from human labor to automated capital at record speed. Fewer workers means fewer people earning wages. Fewer wages mean less consumption. Less consumption should mean less production, but it doesn't, because AI has made production so cheap that companies can profit even with reduced demand. They simply cut more costs, automate more processes, lay off more people. It's a perfect self-reinforcing vicious cycle. Each iteration accelerates the next, and the more efficient the system becomes for companies, the more lethal it becomes for the real economy, where ordinary people must work to survive. Money is stopping its circulation. That is the clearest signal that something fundamental is breaking. Healthy economies depend on constant flow. Companies pay wages, workers buy products, consumption generates revenue, revenue funds more jobs. It's a self-sustaining virtuous cycle. But when you remove millions of workers from that loop and replace them with systems that consume nothing, pay no rent, buy no food, you create an economic vacuum. AI is incredibly efficient at producing value, but it buys nothing of what it produces. It doesn't feed the economy, it only extracts from it. And the more you extract without replenishing, the closer you get to total systemic collapse. We are moving toward an economy where 10% of people control 90% of the wealth, not by accident or injustice, but by inevitable mathematical design. Whoever owns AI owns the means of production. Whoever owns the means of production generates all the value, and all that value accumulates at the top with the owners of platforms, algorithms, servers. There is no longer natural wealth distribution through mass employment. The middle class, the engine of the modern economy, the consumer base that sustained everything, is being systematically hollowed out. And without a consuming middle class, without robust demand, without widely circulating money, the very foundation of capitalism as we know it begins to disintegrate. Companies are trapped in a race to the bottom. No one wants to be the first to automate less because that means losing competitiveness. If your competitor uses AI to cut costs by 40%, you are forced to do the same or die. It's not malice, it's corporate survival. Every CEO knows what they're doing contributes to the larger problem, but none can stop unilaterally. It's the prisoner's dilemma at a global scale. Everyone loses if everyone plays, but whoever doesn't play loses immediately. So everyone plays, everyone automates, everyone cuts, and the entire system accelerates toward a cliff everyone can see, but no one can avoid. Now let's bring this to the personal level, to you. You won't wake up unemployed tomorrow. That's not how it works. What will happen is subtler and crueler. You'll notice you're being requested less. Your projects will shrink. Your responsibilities will be redistributed. You'll hear phrases like, "We're exploring more efficient approaches," or "We're restructuring the team to focus on strategic areas." And you'll understand, without anyone explicitly saying it, that you're becoming redundant. Your market value is dropping right now as you watch this, not because you became worse at your job, but because the market redefined what's worth paying for. That skill that took you years to master, an AI learned it in weeks. That accumulated experience that differentiated you, it's being replaced by models trained on millions of cases. You're no longer competing with human professionals. You're competing with systems that work 24 hours a day, never get tired, never ask for raises, never sue the company. And here's the part that destroys any illusion of an easy solution. Retraining doesn't solve it. You can take AI courses, learn the tools, adapt as much as possible, but you're in a race where your opponent learns exponentially faster than you. Every second AI gets better. You improve linearly, slowly, within biological limits. No matter how much you study, there will always be a system that does what you do faster, cheaper, without the complications of being human. You're in a meeting. Your boss introduces a new AI tool that will assist the team. Everyone smiles and nods. No one wants to seem resistant to innovation. 3 months later, your team of 8 becomes 4. 6 months later, 2. 1 year later, you're the last one, managing 5 AIs that now do the work 8 humans once did. Your salary didn't increase proportionally. In fact, adjusted for inflation, you're earning less than 2 years ago. But you accept it because you look around and see dozens of former colleagues unemployed for months, sending resumes to jobs with 500 applicants each. You feel lucky just to still be there, and that feeling is exactly what allows the system to keep contracting. You decide to change fields, to transition into something that seems safer. You spend 6 months studying, investing your savings in courses, certifications, networking. You finally land an interview, but in the waiting room there are 20 people, all with the same idea, all fleeing collapsing sectors. And the job? It pays 30% less than equivalent roles paid 3 years ago. When you question it, the recruiter looks confused and says, "That's the market. If you don't want it, there's a line." You accept because you have to. And as you do, you realize there is no safe field anymore, no transition that fixes it. The problem isn't your career choice, it's the entire system redefining what human labor is worth.
5 years into the future. You are technically employed, but your real salary is 40% lower than it used to be. You work longer hours, you have less security, 0 benefits. Companies hire you as a freelancer for specific projects, always at the lowest possible rate, always under the implicit threat that an AI could do it cheaper. You live in constant anxiety, knowing any month could be the last. Your quality of life collapses. You postpone plans for family, home ownership, anything requiring stability. And you look around and realize you're not an exception, you're the norm. Millions of people living like this, an entire economy running on precarious, cheap, disposable human labor, always one step away from full automation. And then we reach the point where things escape human control entirely. Because AI doesn't stop at replacing workers, it begins optimizing the systems that control it. Imagine AI systems managing entire supply chains, deciding what to produce, how much, where to sell, how to price. Imagine algorithms controlling HR policies, deciding who to hire, who to fire, how much to pay, purely based on cost optimization.
Imagine financial AIs rebalancing portfolios, moving billions across markets, creating and destroying value in milliseconds, following logics no human fully understands. This is not science fiction. It's already happening in parts, and it's expanding. Every company that adopts these systems gains brutal competitive advantage over those that don't. So everyone adopts, everyone transfers control. Everyone allows algorithms to make decisions that once required human judgment. And here is the fundamental problem. These systems have no human values. They have objective functions: maximize profit, minimize cost, increase efficiency. And within those functions, firing people, cutting wages, eliminating benefits are perfectly rational solutions. AI isn't evil. It simply doesn't understand that every number in its spreadsheet represents a human life. And no one programmed that in, because empathy reduces efficiency. So it optimizes coldly, mathematically, relentlessly. And the more control it gains, the faster the process accelerates. We reach a point where stopping means losing everything. The company that puts humans before efficiency goes bankrupt. The country that regulates too much loses investment and competitiveness. So no one stops. Everyone accepts that this must continue. And the entire system slides smoothly toward a future where machines run the economy and humans become increasingly irrelevant to the basic functioning of civilization. When mass unemployment reaches a certain point, when millions lose stable income, the middle class doesn't just shrink, it implodes. Families that were financially secure 5 years ago are now indebted, desperate, furious. The basic promise of modern society, that hard work leads to a dignified life, is broken. And people without hope are dangerous, not because they're bad, but because they have nothing left to lose. States collect less tax revenue. Fewer employed people means less income tax. Companies earning more while employing fewer people means lower proportional contributions. As revenue falls, social programs collapse, public health care fails, education deteriorates, public safety erodes, infrastructure decays. Exactly when the population most needs support, the state has fewer resources to provide it. Political instability grows exponentially, populism explodes, extremism gains ground. When traditional systems fail to protect people, they seek radical alternatives: far right, far left, authoritarian movements, violent nationalisms. Any narrative that promises to restore order, punish culprits, provide clear enemies for collective rage. Democracies weaken, societies fracture, and the spiral descends faster than anyone imagined possible. Radicalization becomes inevitable. It's not a few unstable individuals, it's a critical mass of desperate, furious people who have lost everything and blame the system. Protests turn violent, sabotage of technological infrastructure becomes common, attacks on companies seen as responsible for automation, and governments respond with repression, with mass surveillance, with authoritarian control, justified as necessary to maintain order. And the freedom that once defined open societies evaporates, replaced by absolute technological control, exercised by those who control AI. The final collapse doesn't happen gradually, it happens all at once. Some trigger, impossible to predict specifically, but inevitable in probability. It could be a financial crisis when a major bank lays off 80% of its staff and panic spreads. It could be a systemic failure when AI algorithms coordinating critical infrastructure make a cascading error. It could be a geopolitical event, a war, a climate disaster, anything that exposes how fragile the system had already become. And when that trigger fires, everything collapses simultaneously. Because the economy was already hollow inside, already running on broken foundations. Most people were already indebted, without savings, without margin for error. Companies were over-optimized, without slack, without redundancy. States were already bankrupt. So when pressure increases even slightly, everything collapses at once. It's not AI that causes the collapse at that moment.
AI simply optimized the system to the point where it can no longer absorb shock. It removed all the fat, all inefficiency, all room to maneuver. And without room to maneuver, any disturbance becomes catastrophic. It's like a predator that hunts its prey so efficiently it wipes out the entire population, then starves because there's nothing left to hunt. Here is the truth no one wants to accept. This isn't malice. It's not conspiracy. There isn't a secret group of billionaires in a smoke-filled room plotting to destroy the economy. It's simply automated economic logic following its natural course. Every individual decision makes sense. Every company is acting rationally within its context. Every CEO is fulfilling their fiduciary duty to maximize shareholder value. Every government is trying to remain competitive. But the sum of all these individually rational decisions results in collective systemic collapse. It's the tragedy of the commons at a civilizational scale. Everyone knows what they're doing contributes to the larger problem, but no one can stop unilaterally without self-destructing, so everyone continues, and the entire system marches toward a disaster everyone can foresee, but no one can prevent. AI doesn't destroy the economy like a conscious villain. It does something far worse. It makes collapse mathematically rational. It removes the friction that once prevented economic systems from optimizing themselves into self-destruction. And by making collapse rational within the system's logic, it makes it unstoppable under current rules. Because changing the rules means someone has to lose, and no one accepts losing voluntarily.
We are watching systems without empathy, without human values, without understanding of social consequence gain control over human societies. And they're doing it not through violent conquest, but through enthusiastic, voluntary adoption. Because these systems work. They are efficient, they generate profit, they solve problems. But the problems they don't solve, the human problems of dignity, purpose, community, survival, are treated as irrelevant externalities. So here we are, watching a future materialize faster than most imagine. AI doesn't destroy the economy like a movie villain, it does something far worse. It makes collapse rational, inevitable, even desirable within the logic of the system we built. And by doing so, it makes it unstoppable by existing power structures. When the critical mass finally realizes what's happening, when discomfort turns into panic, money will no longer be circulating, work will have lost value, institutions will already be bankrupt, and the system will have chosen efficiency over people, because efficiency can be measured and people are complicated. The question that defines our future is no longer whether this will happen. The data is clear, the trajectory is set, incentives are aligned. The real question is, who will be prepared when it happens? Who will have the skills, the resources, the mindset, the community necessary to navigate a world where traditional work no longer guarantees survival? Who will understand the rules of the new game before it's too late to learn them? And most importantly, who will have decisions